Welcome to another episode of Back Nine Report TV. This week, we want to preview the Evian Championship on the LPGA Tour, held in outside of Geneva, Switzerland. It's the golf course is actually in France on the south shores of the of Lake Geneva. It's a beautiful, beautiful area in the Alps. Just a short drive to the Matterhorn from the lake up to the mountains. It's This event began 29 years ago in 1994. It was on the Ladies European Tour, and it was the Evian Masters. It was one of two majors on the LET. It became an LPGA and LET co-sanctioned event in 2000, and then, Mike, in 2011, it was announced that the Evian Masters would be renamed the Evian Championship and become the fifth major on the LPGA Tour. The purse was increased first to 4.1 million, then to 4.5. 22, it saw the purse go to 6.5, and the winner got a cool $1 million. That's not too snotty right there. The Evian has bounced around on the LPGA schedule. Originally a mid-June event, it was played in late July for a few years, moved to mid-September when it became the final major. But it's always kind of battled weather there, and I was looking at the weather, Mike. It's always an issue. It's going to be rainy and wet this early in this week. The forecast for Thursday and Friday are good, but Saturday and Sunday, they're looking at heavy rains and rains through the weekend. It could be an issue again there, Mike.
Just as it was for the men at Royal Liverpool, it helps to avoid the bad weather. But if you're stuck in it, as all the men were this past weekend, it's just a matter you got to tough it out, put on the waterproofs, to get out there and do the best you can to stay dry and just literally do play one shot at a time.
The five past winners in this event have been in 2017, Anna Nordquist, 2018, Angela Stafford, who just won the big event that you were at, Sultan's Run, the senior women's LPGA championship. Jin Young Ko won in 2019, Minji Lee 2021, Brooke Henderson 22. So, Mike, this does identify some of the big names, okay? It's not, you don't usually have a fluke. Angela Stanford had been around the game for a long time. That was the only major that she had won, but you don't really see her name normally at the big events, but she was able to get it done that week. But the rest of these names are all giant names in the LPGA and win there at the Evian.
Yes, strong field again. All those players are household names we see week in and week out on the LPGA leaderboard. And in the case of Brooke Henderson, she has missed the cut in her last two LPGA World Women's Golf events. So, but I expect her to pop back. I think when players go back to courses where they've won, they get a renewed sense of confidence, and I expect Brooke to do well just because she can say, I won here last year, and I can win again here this year.
All 15 LPGA Tour winners from this year are in the field, including the three major winners so far. Alison Corpuz, who won the U.S. Women's Open, Runyan Ying, who was the Women's PGA champ, and Lilia Vu, who won the Chevron early in the year. And so then the Evians this week, and then in a couple weeks, the Women's British Open, August 10th through the 13th, will wrap up the major season for the LPGA Tour. Mike, we talked about the strength of field. I mean, everybody's here. All the top players are here. Four French players are in the field, so they might have a little bit of an advantage. It's kind of a home game for them. Celine Boutier, Perrine Delacour, Celine Herbin, and Pauline Roussin. Celine Boutier is the only member of that group that has won on the LPGA Tour. Matter of fact, she won earlier this year. Any thoughts on those four ladies and their chances of winning this week?
I think Celine Boutier is someone we're all going to keep an eye on. Ever since she won for the first time at the ShopRite Classic back in, I believe I was there, 2020, she's played very confidently. And of course, this year she won in March at the drive-on event just outside Phoenix. Very steady player. She did not play this past weekend up at Midland, so she's rested, and she's on her home turf, probably playing better now than she ever has. And there's no better time for home cooking for Boutier than 2023.
I have to tell you, I watched her play a few years ago at the Dana in Toledo, and she is a cool customer. She is so graceful. She just never gets too excited. She just goes along. I love to watch her play. besides that, she's just not hard to look at. She's she's a really good looking lady, and I wish her a lot of luck this week. Some of the other top names in the field this week: Mike Jin Yun Ko, who's number one in the Rolex rankings; Nelly Korda, who's number two; Lydia Ko, Lilia Vu has moved all the way to number 4 in the world. Wow, that happened fast. Runyan Ying, Allison Corpuz, Minji Lee, Huju Kim, and Athea Theatical, as well as Jiyu Lin. They're the top 10 in the Rolex rankings. They're all in the field this week. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them won, actually. Any thoughts on the top 10 here of the ladies I made? Are any of those that you really like to win this week?
Well, the player that I've been keeping an eye on for months, of course, I am part of the scoring team out there in the LPGA circuit, so I'm out there a lot. I wouldn't be surprised to see Georgia Hall do well. She had a good, strong sort of April, May, and then she tailed off a little bit. But it's a matter of who is putting the best, and that's probably a cliche that you can use for any event. But I'm shocked that Allison Corpuz won the U.S. Open, but she putted the best and she played the best. And for the women, the depth is so deep, and just because someone hasn't won ever doesn't mean they won't win this week. This past weekend, we had Elizabeth Zokel win alongside their team was the Elizabethan Knights, Cheyenne Knights. So Cheyenne Knight and Elizabeth Zokel won up at Midland, and it's if they're in the field, they can win. And there are players who tend to do better than others on any given week, but if you're in the field, you can win. And it's so mental, and it's based on putting. So we'll see. And of course, the elements are a big issue this week too. Will you get out early and avoid that the rain and the wind and the gusty conditions? That remains to be seen.
Some of the girls that are trending this week, I mentioned Lilia Vu. She's won twice this year already. Also, Jin Yun Ko has also won twice. She's not been, Jin Yun Ko has not been doing great over the last couple of weeks, but she's always a threat. She won early in the year, and she's just such a great player. When it comes to the majors, I look for her to do well all the time. A young player that's really caught fire this year as well after her Solheim Cup appearance a couple years ago, Leona McGuire. She's played great this year. Jennifer Kupko is coming off the Midland with Lizette Salas. Celine Boutier, like I say, won in March. And we can't neglect talking about Rose Zhang. She won her very first LPGA event in June, has been on every leaderboard since. She's got 4 starts this year. So it's a win, 2 top 10s, and only 1 missed cut at the Dana in Toledo, which I wouldn't be surprised. She was probably a little bit tired or worn down, but both of her top 10s came at previous majors, U.S. Women's Open and the Women's PGA. She's definitely not afraid of the big stage and is the newest superstar on the LPGA, Mike.
I think for Rose, missing the cut in Toledo was probably a blessing in disguise. It's like, welcome to the big leagues. Not everything's going to be a top 10 every week. She did not play at Midland, so she took that week off. We'll probably get rested, recharged mentally, physically, and we'll get refocused. And I expect her to play well and contend. So I'd be shocked if she doesn't. But again, missing cuts. Even Jack Nicklaus missed a cut occasionally here and there. But I do agree with you. It was probably the fatigue of the last few weeks just caught up with her. And but I'm sure she'll come back to Dana next year and prove that what happened last year or this year was a fluke.
One other player I want to talk about before we get away from here, Lydia Ko has kind of been struggling this year. She only has 1 top 10, and that was way back in February. She has won this event before, though, and this course does seem to fit her game. Since 2016 or 2013, she has only finished outside the top 10 at the Evian twice. She was 6th in 2021 and 3rd last year, so she's had very good success on this golf course in this tournament. I look for Lydia Ko to have a resurgence and maybe do really well this week, Mike.
I expect Lydia Ko to do well every week I see her out there. And when she doesn't, I'm shocked. Again, it's probably, she got married late last year. I'm sure her life has taken a different twist. She had such an amazing year last year. It's almost difficult to repeat her level of excellence she had in 2022. But I think now the attention is a little bit off Lydia, and that probably makes her a little more relaxed. Focus on Roseanne, focus on Nelly Porta, focus on Leona McGuire. And then she'll just come out of nowhere and they go, well, Lydia's back. No surprise.
Mike, want to talk a little bit about the TV times. It's going to be on NBC, Golf Channel, and Peacock. Beginning Thursday morning, the 27th, it's on from 5 to 7 a.m. on the Golf Channel, 7 to 8 on NBC Peacock. Then they go back to the Golf Channel for a couple hours, and then they wrap up the last hour, 11:30 to 12:30, back on Peacock. Pretty much the same thing on Friday. Both days are the same. On Saturday, it's 5:30 to 11 on Golf Channel, NBC, and Peacock. And on Sunday, it's the same thing. So it's early morning golf. You can get up on Saturday morning, Sunday morning, watch some golf, just like we watched the Open Championship last week. Should be a lot of fun. Mike, I want to mention. So, as we wrap this up, let's just pick our favorites. So we mentioned a little bit of who we're watching. So I'm going to give you my favorites. Okay, someone I haven't mentioned yet, Lynn Grant. She just won at Toledo at the Dana. This is also nearly a home game for her. She is from adjoining Switzerland. All eyes. She has won. I have it in notes here. She won 7 times in 2022 on the LPGA, on the Ladies European Tour and the Sunshine Tour. She won 4 on one and 3 on the other. She's already won this year on both the Ladies European Tour and the LPGA Tour because of that Dana win. I think she's playing at a very high level right now. Like I say, it's kind of a home game for her, and I look for her to do really well this week. Also, I like Lydia Ko as well. I always pick Lydia. I really like her. So I think I'll just go with those two for my names this week. Mike, what do you got for me?
I'm going to give you 3 names. 1 American, 2 English girls. My 2 English girls are Georgia Hall, who very steady player. Would not be surprised if she emerges victorious. She took last week off at Midland, probably to go home, get rested. I also like Mel Reed. Mel Reed played in Midland last week, and she was part of a team on Thursday, which was round 2, that had the lowest score in 4 balls that did not make the cut. They shot 63, finished at 2 under, and missed the cut by 1. So Mel is trending in the right direction. Mel Reed is this week's Brian Harman, but she's a righty, not a lefty. And of course, the American that, again, I'm predicting to win any week now is Megan Kang. So Megan Kang, Georgia Hall, Mel Reed. Those are the 3 players that I think could well surprise everyone and walk away victorious.
There you heard it from Mike, right from Mike May. Run out to your local betting station and get those names down. Get some money down. Mike, thanks a lot for joining us on the Backnine Report once more. And that's our preview of the Evian Championship this year. Be on TV Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Don't miss it. Mike, thanks a lot. We'll chat to you later.
Definitely, sir. Have a great week.